The Baconator is a winner, and so is the Frosty, but these items are not. Here are the 10 biggest Wendy's failures of all time. The SuperBar. Buffet-style restaurants have somewhat fallen out of fashion as of late, with there being an increased concern regarding exactly how many people have been touching your food when you go out to eat. But back in the 80s, there was a time when buffets reigned supreme as the ultimate experience in affordable dining. You could fill up your plate with pizza and pasta while still paying the same as if you'd only ordered one of them? Yes, please! And although Wendy's has definitely solidified itself as a drive-thru dream over the course of the restaurant's lifetime, there was a period of time where they dipped their toe into a more dine-in buffet style back in the 80s. Though not necessarily in the way you might expect. There was a lot more than just burgers and fries on the buffet line, with one commercial at the time advertising items like nachos and fettuccine. All of this was available for less than $3 a serving as well. And while these great prices made the SuperBar extremely popular among customers, they would also make it extremely expensive for Wendy's to maintain. Customers would also frequently complain about the quality of the SuperBar, as Wendy's employees would often have a difficult time making sure that everything was properly stocked and cleaned between diners. Wendy's ultimately decided to close their SuperBar back in 1999, and while there are still some who would like to see them take this idea back to the drawing board, considering the recent decline in the popularity of buffets in general, we doubt that we're going to see another attempt at a Wendy's SuperBar anytime soon. The food poisoning incident. While Wendy's has become a beloved staple all across America and beyond, over the course of the 50-plus years they've been open, they've had a more difficult time with first impressions in other countries. For example, Wendy's had to close down 71 restaurants in Japan in 2019 after they had failed to impress the public by not offering anything new on their menu. While other restaurants will often expand their menu to include some of the customary taste of the country they're moving into, such as McDonald's roasted soy sauce, double thick beef in Japan, Wendy's just kind of stuck to their standard, regular American menu, and it wasn't really what fast food diners in Japan were looking for. But Wendy's worst luck when it came to expanding to other countries had to be back in 2015, when they quickly had to close 12 locations in Singapore, apparently because the quality of the food had gotten to be so bad that customers were coming away with food poisoning. Some also speculated that the cost of rent in Singapore may have played a factor in Wendy's decision to move out. But still, the fact that they expanded so quickly into a new country that they weren't even checking the quality of the meat they were sending out is concerning. We understand that it's supposed to be fast food, but still, let's all hope Wendy's took this as an opportunity to learn to slow down and make sure that they're totally prepared before jumping in head first.
Gold frosted donuts, a chocolate bowling ball, and a fresh pork sandwich.
Frescata Sandwiches. If you've come to associate Wendy's with guilty pleasures like the Baconator, then you may be surprised to hear that there was actually a time where their menu offered fresh deli sandwiches, loaded with meats and tons of vegetables. Wendy's Frescata Sandwiches debuted in 2006, inspired by the recent success of Subway and the clear demand for fast food options that felt a little bit healthier. But as much as this lighter, cleaner option may have seemed like a good idea at the time, there were a number of reasons why it failed in execution. For one thing, the sandwiches were meant to be made to order, which meant that it simply took too long for Wendy's employees to put them together for drive-thru orders. So, if anyone ever did order one, it would slow down the drive-thru line enough just to become a major hassle on everyone. Yeah, there's definitely a reason why Subway doesn't have a drive-thru window. Let's just say that. Not to mention, the sandwiches themselves tended to be kind of inconsistent, which really didn't encourage customers to continue ordering them. Only 2 years after Wendy's debuted their Frescata sandwiches, they decided to scrap the whole idea and went back to their burgers and fries roots. Which, hey, that's clearly what they do best anyway.
Whoa! Did you turn yourself into a Wendy's Frosty Chino? Are you like Frosty Rick now?
Coffee Toffee Twisted Frosty. Wendy's Frosties are among the most popular items on their menu, and while chocolate and vanilla will always be fan favorites, the Coffee Toffee Twisted Frosty enjoyed a much briefer run. This invigorating flavor was released as an option in 2009, and Wendy's advertised it with a slightly cringy but also sorta catchy commercial that capitalized on the popularity of boy bands at the time. While the Coffee Toffee Twisted Frosty was popular enough to develop a bit of a cult following, Wendy's decided to pull it from their menus only 2 years later, much to the dismay of their customers. Change.org hosts a petition to bring back the deliciously layered dessert, with the description even pointing out that Wendy's Frosty options are currently kind of limited, whereas the Coffee Toffee Twisted Frosty offered some much-needed variety. It's sort of doubtful that Wendy's will bring the Coffee Toffee Twisted Frosty back at this point in time, but here's hoping they at least listen to the request to step outside of their comfort zone a little bit when it comes to their Frosty flavors.
That's the breakfast Baconator, Frosty-ccino, and honey butter chicken biscuit. Chicken biscuit's a bruiser, Morty. Do not mess with that guy.
When Wendy's canceled breakfast. This is one time where it seems as though Wendy's actually learned from their own mistakes. In 1985, they rolled out a breakfast menu that was meant to compete with the likes of McDonald's hotcakes, including items such as French toast, made-to-order omelets, and toasted sandwiches. But just like with the Frescata Sandwiches, employees were having a difficult time getting breakfast out to customers in a timely manner, and so they just scrapped the whole idea. But that being said, they did experiment with items such as breakfast burritos and sausage biscuits in 2013 before finally re-releasing an updated breakfast menu in 2019, primarily consisting of breakfast sandwiches. They even included a breakfast-style Baconator this time around, proving that you don't need to copy someone else's homework to be good. Just work with what you're already good at, and it'll all turn out in the end. While those who were able to try the breakfast menu in the 80s will still hold on to that first attempt at a breakfast menu as a disappointing example of what happens when one chain tries to act a little bit too much like the other, we're glad to see that it all worked out for Wendy's in the end. Spicy chicken nuggets. If you're a fan of spicy chicken, then chances are that Wendy's spicy chicken sandwich is among your go-tos. With their tender chicken and the perfect mix between flavor and heat, it's clear to see why customers just can't get enough. And so when Wendy's rolled out their spicy chicken nuggets back in 2010, they were almost just as popular. In fact, people preferred them as a slightly more cost-efficient but equally as delicious option. This made it somewhat confusing when Wendy's decided to quietly remove the nuggets from their menu in 2017. Outraged customers took to Twitter demanding to know what had happened to their precious nuggets and if they could ever expect to see them again, forcing Wendy's to announce the official retirement of the spicy chicken nuggets, with only a few select locations continuing to offer them. Spicy chicken fans everywhere were devastated that day. That is, until Burger King decided to add spicy chicken nuggets to their menu, offering any customer who could prove that their name was Wendy a free order. Hey, maybe Wendy should have listened to their customers when they had the chance. Tweeting the wrong memes. Wendy's has taken on an entirely new life in the age of Twitter. Their account has really helped develop a new sense of identity for the restaurant. And that identity, apparently, is a bit of a troll. Between their deadpan sense of humor, witty comebacks, and tendency to tease other fast food chains for no apparent reason, they've definitely given fans a few reasons over the years to be interested in what they're posting. But in January of 2017, the Wendy's Twitter page posted an image of popular internet meme Pepe the Frog dressed up as the Wendy's mascot. What Wendy's hadn't realized at the time was that Pepe the Frog had actually been co-opted into a modern-day symbol by hate groups, and that's primarily used in racist contexts. Wendy's was quick to delete the meme from the page, explaining that they'd had the meme on backup for a year or two prior and that they hadn't been aware of its recent adaptation into a hate symbol. It's definitely good to know that Wendy's didn't mean anything by it, but at the same time, we can also see how the post may have outraged a few people. Wendy's fresh stuffed pitas. If there is one thing this list proves about Wendy's, it's that they are very attuned to what's trendy at any given time. And what proves that more than their introduction of fresh stuffed pitas in 1997? The most popular among their selection was, by far, the Chicken Caesar Pita. And while you can still just order a salad and wrap it in your own pita bread, there was something about the perfect softness to Wendy's pita bread that's just difficult to recapture in quite the same way these days. Roughly 3 years after the stuffed pita's release, Wendy's began to quietly pull them off menus, reportedly because it was simply too easy for customers to recreate the meal cheaper from home. This does mean that there are plenty of copycat recipes that you can find all across the internet. So if you wanted to give this one a try, you can definitely do it that way. But it's unlikely that Wendy's will stock their fresh stuffed pitas again anytime soon. Instead, they've decided to shift their attention towards recipes that don't seem to immediately make people say, "Yeah, I can just make that at home." Some chili rumors. Wendy's chili has a bit of a polarizing reputation. Some customers rave and can't get enough of it, but among those who don't like it, they consider the borderline mystery meat that it's made out of to be almost suspiciously questionable. This has led to rumors like the one that Wendy's chili is actually made out of old chopped up hamburger patties in an effort to conserve the meat's shelf life and save the company a bit of money. Another variation on the rumor claims that even hamburger patties that have been dropped on the floor get repurposed into the chili. A woman claimed to have found a partial human finger in her chili when she went to take a bite in 2005. This would later turn out to be a scam, when the woman admitted to buying the severed digit from her husband's coworker who had recently lost the finger in an accident. She slipped it into the chili herself, potentially figuring that everyone would just accept the fact and Wendy's would give her a ton of money. But scam or not, and even after the trial and jail time, Wendy's would still go on to lose an estimated $21 million in lost revenue as a result of this bogus claim. Although the chili continues to be served as an option at your local Wendy's, and there are still plenty of satisfied customers who aren't put off by the rumors, there is definitely a reason why more and more people are opting for less suspicious items. Pretzel Bacon Cheeseburger. If you're feeling a little put off at the idea of Wendy's chili right now, then the Pretzel Bacon Cheeseburger may just be the item you need to put those nasty rumors out of your mind. It's difficult to improve the already classic recipe of a Wendy's cheeseburger, but in 2013, the company came up with an idea that would prove to be an immediate hit: pretzel buns. The Pretzel Bacon Cheeseburger was especially popular, and as much as it had always been intended to be a limited-time release, customers loved it so much that Wendy's even announced that the burger was to be a regular part of their menu in 2014. This was great news for pretzel bun lovers, and yet for some unknown reason, the Pretzel Bacon Cheeseburger was discontinued again in 2015. It's possible that the burger just didn't receive the sort of sales that Wendy's was expecting, but that isn't to say that it didn't have its die-hard fans who have been scrambling to see its return ever since. In an interview with Brand Eating, a Wendy's spokesperson once referred to the Pretzel Bacon Cheeseburger as one of the most successful limited-time offerings in Wendy's history. And so it's entirely possible that we may see its return as a special limited-time offer sometime in the future. But considering how widely beloved this burger is, we're sort of surprised that Wendy's hasn't made any recent attempts to push it any more than that.